ARIS leadership, voted on by the awards committee, and they're for those who have made possible the field of BI by being pioneers and or champions of BI. The process starts with a nomination, which can either be a self-nomination or you can nominate others. And the awards committee vote on the nominations on their commitment, alignment, evidence, and the promise for advancement of the field. I would like to thank those that helped me on the awards committee this year: Nathan Meyer, Allison Meadow, Beth Ambos, Amy Pratt, Mike Jacobson, and of course Susan Reno. So the first award this year, the Impact Goals Award, goes to Weijie Ma, Professor of Neuroscience and Psychology at NYU. He was born and raised in the Netherlands, received his PhD in physics from the University of Groningen in 2001. He was assistant professor of neuroscience at Baylor College of Medicine from 2008 to 2013 before joining NYU. His laboratory studies how people make decisions under uncertainty by combining behavioral experiments, computational models, and neural measures. Ma founded the Growing Up in Science Conversation series, in which scientists tell their life stories with an emphasis on doubts, struggles, and failures. He's a founding member of the Scientist Action and Advocacy Network, which provides pro bono science to social and environmental nonprofits. He also co-founded the Rural China Education Foundation, which supports community-based and student-centered teaching in rural China. In 2021, Ma received the 2021 Jeffrey L. Ellman Prize for Scientific Achievement in Community Building from the Cognitive Sciences Society. Weijie is not here to accept his award, but we mailed it to him. Next, we have the Enduring Achievement Award, which we present to Nalini Nadkarni. Her unique academic career interweaves her research on rainforest canopy biota with innovative public engagement. Professor of biology at the University of Utah, Dr. Nadkarni has written 140 scientific papers and books supported by the National Science Foundation and the National Geographic Society. She also collaborates with faith-based groups, artists, and corporations to engage those who do not or cannot gain access to science education and nature. In 2004, she initiated programs to bring science lectures and hands-on conservation projects to adults and youth who were incarcerated inside state prisons and juvenile detention centers. In 2016, she and her colleagues created the NSF-supported STEM Ambassador Program to train academic scientists to engage community groups with their research in the venues where they live, work, recreate, and worship. Her work is featured in journals ranging from Science to Playboy and in public media such as Science Friday, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and Radiolab. Her awards include a Guggenheim Fellowship, the AAAS Award for Public Engagement, the National Science Foundation Award for Public Service, the Wilson Award for the Advancement of Social Justice, and now, the ARIS Enduring Achievement Award.
Everybody, to my collaborators, and to ARIS. Thanks so much.
The next Enduring Achievement Award goes to Dennis Schatz. After completing his undergraduate and graduate studies in astrophysics, Dr. Schatz shifted his attention to focus on opening channels of communication between science and society. He's worked tirelessly in that realm ever since. He served for more than 40 years in various roles at the Pacific Science Center and led a variety of different initiatives, including Astronomy Education Program, Washington State Laser, and Portal to the Public. In his current role as Senior Advisor to the Institute for Learning Innovation, he continues to serve as leadership for Portal to the Public, which connects the public with current science through conversations with local scientists and engineers. The portal to the public network has been implemented at more than 60 organizations across North America. He is the author of 26 science books for children, including the Fossil Detective series and When the Sun Goes Dark. His books have sold almost 2 million copies worldwide and have been translated into 23 languages. He's received numerous honors, most recently Asteroid 25232, was renamed Asteroid Schatz in 2017 by the International Astronomical Union in recognition of his leadership in astronomy and science education. And now he has the ARIS Enduring Achievement Award. Dennis is not here either, but we mailed him his award. Next, we have the Teen Science Cafe Network, and we are awarding them the Impact Innovation Award. In 2006, the idea emerged to use the new popular Science Cafe outreach model to appeal to hard-to-reach segments of the public, the high school teenager. With support of an NSF grant, Teen Cafe programs were prototyped in 4 communities of diverse character in northern New Mexico. Additional NSF funding expanded the program to become the Teen Science Cafe Network, which grew to 5 sites across the country in 2012. From that point, the network took off and has rapidly grown to about 133 sites in 46 states. Dr. Michelle Hall and Dr. Michael Mayhew were founders of the Teen Science Cafe Network, and currently Michelle actively promotes the network, and Mike, now retired, is a member of the network's advisory board. The program has proven to be as popular with teens and their host organizations in other states as in the original small network in New Mexico. The Teen Science Cafe Network is a dynamic, growing community of practice that has spread across the country with the mission of connecting high school teenagers with STEM and STEM experts via the Science Cafe model. By connecting teens with scientists, the program seeks to instill understanding of the nature of science, scientific habits of mind, awareness of science careers, and motivation for lifelong learning in science, empowering them to positively contribute as adult citizens to civic life in their communities. The Teen Science Cafe Network members have readily embraced it by mentoring new members, providing professional development, and writing about their experiences in their programs and within the network. In fall 2020, a new Teen Science Cafe Network website was launched with an extensive library of resources recommended by members. The site hosts a blog showcasing our members with published Cool Cafe reports submitted by the sites, often written by teen leaders. In addition to the website, Teen Science Cafe Network staff connect with members one-on-one and facilitate connections between members with like interests to help further their goals. Michelle Hall began her career as a geological engineer in industry, then became a geophysicist in academia. Her interest turned to the challenge of making science accessible to broad audiences through science-based games, curriculum, and inquiry. In academia, she developed and evaluated technology-based curriculum, explored effective use of data and visualizations for learning, and fostered scientist-teacher partnerships. At this time, via her company and a nonprofit organization, she's promoting Teen Science Cafe choice learning programs for youth and developing games that promote STEM learning. Michael Mayhew received a bachelor's degree in mathematics from The Ohio State University and a PhD in marine geophysics from Lamont Geological Observatory at Columbia University. As a senior research scientist for Science Education Solutions, he developed Teen Science Cafe Network and a panel-based peer review system for digital educational resources, and edited a 4-volume GIS-based high school earth science curriculum. He's a former program director for the Geosciences Directorate of NSF You received the Excellence in Geophysical Education Award from the American Geophysical Union in 2007 and was elected a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 2020. And now they have the Impact Innovation Award. And we'll get a picture after. Also, we have some brochures, so be sure to grab some Teen Science Cafe brochures. Yeah, right on the way out the door. Okay, now we're moving on to the Broader Impacts Champions, and as I mentioned at the beginning, these are really the people that we're recognizing for being champions of BI as a field, being really involved in the policy and really championing our efforts. So first, we would like to award the BI champion to Dr. Douglas D. Randall, a retired professor from plant biochemistry at the University of Missouri, where he established an internationally recognized research program in the area of plant metabolism, signal transduction, regulation of plant enzymes, and understanding the metabolic interactions between photosynthesis, photorespiration, and respiration. His lab established the first plant enzyme to be regulated by reversible phosphorylation and established that this biochemical switch mechanism regulates which pathways support mitochondrial energy production during photosynthesis. Dr. Randall was founder of the Interdisciplinary Plant Group on campus and served as its director from 1981 to 2008. He serves on the ARIS Council of Experts and has supported ARIS and the broader impacts community since the beginnings of NABI. The American Society for Plant Biologists have honored Dr. Randall as a pioneer member and fellow and bestowed upon him its Charles Reed Barnes Life Membership Award. In 2002, President George W. Bush appointed Dr. Randall to the National Science Board, and he was reappointed in 2008. He was elected a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 2009. In the spirit of his dedication to the growth of young scientists, the Douglas D. Randall Young Scientists Development Fund provides travel awards to undergraduate students, graduate students, and postdoctoral fellows. And so we award this year's Broader Impacts Champion Award to Doug Randall, who also is not here. The next winner of the Broader Impacts Champion for 2023 is Eddie Bernice Johnson. She's the former chair of the House Sciences Committee, and she represented Texas's 30th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives from 1993 until her retirement in 2023. In December of 2010, Johnson became the first African American and the first female ranking member of the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. From 2000 to 2002, she was a ranking member of the Subcommittee on Research and Science Education. She has been a strong advocate of investing in science, technology, engineering, and math education. In 2012, she introduced the Broadening Participation in STEM Education Act, which would authorize the director of the National Science Foundation to award grants to increase the number of students from underrepresented minority groups receiving STEM degrees. The bill would also expand the number of faculty members from underrepresented minority groups at colleges and universities. Eddie Bernice could not be here. However, she did send a recorded message.
And hopefully.
I'm Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson and former chair of the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee. It is an honor to be recognized as a Broader Impact Champion by the Center for Advancing Research Impact in Society. I want to address the role of the National Science Foundation plays in bridging the gap between research, innovation, and public understanding. The National Science Foundation has long supported both the youth-inspired research and efforts to translate the research into practice. It is in this context, and as chairperson of the Committee of Science, Space, and Technology, that I spend countless hours toward comprehensive reauthorization of the NSF. The NSF, or the Future Act, which I authored, is a move towards future where more researchers and scientists across all fields and disciplines can pursue their best ideas. The answers to today's pressing problems are more complex than a single scientific solution. As the first African American and the first female chair of the committee, I understand the progress that has been made when we work together to open doors of opportunity for others. We have an opportunity to look beyond politics of today and develop the best policies for tomorrow. And our future prosperity depends on what we do now to nurture the STEM talent in our country. This is necessary for us to keep pace with our competitors and deliver benefits to all Americans. The challenges we face today demand a dramatic expansion of STEM workforce, one that is inclusive of talented students for all races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. We need computer scientists and economists, biologists, mathematicians, engineers, chemists, and social scientists. And all together, we will push the boundaries of what we know and what we can achieve. This is why I introduced the Supporting Early Career Researchers Act at the very beginning of the 117th Congress. The global competition in science and technology continues to intensify, and the lack of diversity in U.S. STEM workforce creates a significant drag in our own capacity to innovate. We have to act to avoid losing our entire generation of talented scientists and engineers from our research pipeline. These are the very people who we will need to overcome the next health crisis, to protect our population against the impacts of catastrophic climate change, and to ensure that we remain a global leader in science and technology. The leadership is essential to our economic and national security. In promoting STEM, we must also acknowledge and nurture behavioral and societal benefits of research. And as a former registered nurse, I experienced firsthand that quality care is only possible when people understand and trust science. Today, I stand proudly in front of you as the author of the CHIPS and Science Act, which became public law. The measure is not only a tremendous victory for our nation's science, manufacturing, and technology enterprises, it is a victory for the American people. The CHIPS and Science Act included many bipartisan provisions that started in the House Science Committee. The transformational package we passed with bipartisan support will help build a strong, diverse STEM workforce, address the great societal and scientific challenges we face as a nation, ensure that we can make good jobs in America, catalyze our American semiconductor manufacturing capabilities, create jobs, bring about solutions to the climate crisis, and so much more. We are ushering in a strong future for our premier scientific agencies with support for NIST, NSF, DOE, and NASA. As we build the provisions in this bill, we listened to you, the scientists, engineers, academia, researchers, manufacturers, and other stakeholders on what they needed to succeed in the 21st century. I believe we were successful in building something that will be impactful for decades to come. Some of these provisions have been and years in the making, including a piece I've been working on for 15 years that will help expand opportunities for all to pursue STEM. Again, I am so appreciative of this award, and I will continue to be an advocate for preserving and supporting the vital research efforts of Center for Advancing Research Impact in Society, NSF, and all of our nation's scientific institutions. And I thank you again for this recognition.
Our next Broader Impacts champion is Anelia Sargent. She's a past Vice President for Student Affairs and Ira S. Bowen Professor of Astronomy Emeritus at the California Institute of Technology. Her research has largely focused on the earliest stages of star and planetary system formation using high-resolution millimeter wave observations of the gas and dust disks that surround very young sun-like stars. As director of Caltech's Owens Valley Radio Observatory, she led the development of increasingly powerful arrays of telescopes to probe the universe at millimeter wavelengths. Between 2011 and 2022, Dr. Sargent was a member of the National Science Board, chairing its Oversight Committee from 2018 to 2022. She's a former president of the American Astronomical Society, a member of the National Academy of Sciences, a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and associate of the Royal Astronomical Society, and was awarded NASA Public Service Medal in 1995. Sargent has chaired the U.S. National Research Council, Board of Physics and Astronomy, NASA's Space Science Advisory Committee, and served on a variety of other NSF and NRC committees. Born in Scotland, she holds a bachelor's and doctoral degrees from the University of Edinburgh and received her doctorate from Caltech, where she's a distinguished alumnus. Anelia was going to join us on Zoom today, but she got sick, so she's not here, but I think we should still give her a round of applause. And the last Broader Impacts champion this year is Kelvin Drogemeyer. He's a Regents Professor of Meteorology, Weather News Chair Emeritus, and Roger and Sherry Teigen Presidential Professor at the University of Oklahoma, where he served for nearly a decade as Vice President for Research. He has been at OU for 37 years and co-founded and directed one of NSF's first science and technology centers. He served 2 6-year terms on the National Science Board, the last 4 as Vice Chairman, nominated first by President George W. Bush and then by Barack Obama, confirmed both times by the U.S. Senate. He also served for 2 years as Oklahoma Cabinet Secretary of Science and Technology. Most recently, Dr. Drogemeyer served for 2 years as the Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy and Science Advisor to the President. For 2.5 months during this time, he also served as Acting Director of the National Science Foundation. His research involves numerical simulation and prediction of high-impact local weather and the assimilation of data into storm-resolving models. He is a fellow of the American Meteorological Society and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and has published more than 80 referred journal articles and over 200 conference publications. He is joining us via Zoom to make his remarks.
Well, great. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person, but I really do very much appreciate this honor, and I do have the award here with me. I hope you can see that. So you hit the mark with the award. It's really nice for meteorologists to have this. I want to thank Eris and Susan Renaud and the awards committee, and also Brenda for your help with the logistics. I love the pathway that Eris took to become Eris. You know, it started out as a research coordination grant from the National Science Foundation. It really then it was NABI at the time, became NABI. And that really helped us kind of turn the notion of broader impacts from a review criterion at NSF that most people were familiar with but didn't understand, into a real true impact of national significance. And so the focus now of ARIS being the societal impact, I think, is so extraordinarily important, because it's not just focusing on the societal impact. What I think that sort of a spillover effect is helping researchers see the broader aspects of research overall. We talk about things like research security, and I think a lot of times faculty members don't sit back and take a look at the nation as a whole to say, where are we going as a nation? What is my role in sort of the national picture? I'm doing my research, I'm advancing the cause of science and so on, but is there a broad enough awareness of the value and the role of research? And I think that's really what ARIS has done an extraordinary job of, talking about societal impact, which really goes beyond the original notion of broader impact. So I think that's been an extraordinary contribution. And of course, the National Science Board in its Vision 2030 document talked about the importance of research translation into benefits for society. And that doesn't forsake basic research, fundamental research. It doesn't have to have a particular use immediately, but it's important to think about what those broader aspects are. And so I think ARIS has really been an absolutely transformative force in this enterprise. And I can tell you, I started out, as you heard, as a faculty member, I co-founded an STC early in my time as a junior professor, and we had no clue what we were doing with broader impact, K-12 engagement, workforce development. I mean, you name it. NSF sort of threw it out there, and like they do oftentimes, expect the community to kind of figure it out. And that's actually a very good thing, but it was over the course of my entire career that I really began to understand what the aspects of broader impacts really meant. And it really became solidified when I started working with Alicia Needler, who's in the audience there, when she was at the University of Oklahoma, and we hired Michael Thompson to be the Director of Broader Impacts and Research. That actually wasn't our original plan, but it turned out through a variety of circumstances, that's what we ended up doing. And what it really did, I think, for me, was it brought a clear focus to me of what broader impacts was. Then, of course, Alicia, being a renowned expert in research development, really helped bring additional focus in that sense. So I think, the wonder of research is fabulous, but when you take that and you extend it to the societal impacts that ARIS focuses on and all the things that we know are so incredibly important, then you get supercharged. You get so excited about research. And I'll tell you, the company that I am in with this award, Anila and also Doug, who I served with on the science board, and also with EDJ, who I've worked with in Congress for many, many years. She is a true pioneer. We're going to miss her greatly. Very bipartisan person. She and Frank Lucas, who's now the current chair of the House Science Committee, worked extremely well together. And that committee has been a hallmark of bipartisanship. And through EDJ's efforts, as she said, they really understand the importance of broader impacts. So I just want to say thank you for this great honor. It means the world to me, and I really am so grateful for the hard work that ARIS has done and all the work that you all have put into this as members of the research community to really advance the cause of science and research. And one thing I'll just mention sort of in closing here, because I've been in this game for almost 40 years, I felt like one of the things I could do to give back to the community that's been so generous to me is to kind of put together my knowledge about research and what oftentimes is sort of mysterious enterprise in academia that led me to write a book called Demystifying the Academic Research Enterprise. It's essentially everything scholars need to know to do research, but they're never really taught. They sort of learn it as they go along year by year by year, decade by decade. And I wanted to put this at the front end of people's career. So in some sense, it's a shameless plug, but MIT is publishing this book open access later this year, and it will be available free of charge to everybody. I want no barriers to access. It's for R1s, R2s, MSIs, emerging research institutions. It's got stuff in there about everything you can imagine, from compliance to how the government funds science and how decisions are made, to presenting results and looking at peer review concepts and open access publishing and ethical conduct, all that kind of stuff. And I want people to be more productive earlier in their career. And to me, that's sort of a broader impact of what my career has been about, that I can give back to the community that has given me so much. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to send you the manuscript, the draft. It's in production now. It's about to go to page proofs. And again, totally free of charge. And I'm very excited about it. And it's gotten some good reviews. So I'm hopeful it will help young and emerging scholars across all disciplines, and also help research administrators, help members of Congress understand what oftentimes is sort of a mysterious aspect of the enterprise in which we work and which we love so dearly. So To all of you there, thank you so very much. To Eris, thank you. You just really made my day, my year, and I will cherish this award and continue to work very, very hard to make sure that the good work that you're doing, that I contributed to it in whatever ways are possible. So thank you very much.
So this concludes this year's awards presentations. I do encourage you all to think about people that you know that you think are also worthy of this kind of recognition, and think about next year's nominations. Keep your eyes out for the announcements, and if you want to talk to me about any of the criteria or the awards themselves, anytime you see me around over the next day and a half or next day, please stop by. Thanks.